Hi, my name is Michael Johannes, and this is MRI 320 Lab. This is week 3, and I'm just going to go over some questions and answer them to the best of my abilities. So we'll start. First question is, what is the ACR Phantom used for, and how is it to handle, and why might it be dangerous? And then talk a little bit about each of the QC procedures that the ART requires you to comp out on. All right, so for the first question, the ACR Phantom, what it's used for, it's used for to get the proper measurements inside the scanner. That's very, very important. And then the next question was how to handle it. What makes the ACR Phantom dangerous, and how do we handle it? We want to be able to pick it up with both of our hands. This liquid that's inside of it is nickel chloride, which is very, very toxic. And if you don't handle it with proper care and with strength, and to be focused at times when you're doing that with that ACR, it's a toxic chemical that can injure you if it gets in your eyes, any of that. So that's what makes it dangerous. And like I said, you want to be using both hands when you are taking it into the scanner, into the head coil, and then when you're taking it out of the head coil. And that's what it's in the head coil is where that ACR Phantom is used. And then they talk about each of the QC procedures. So the QC procedure, one of them is signal to noise, and this measurement is used to measure the signal inside of the scanner versus the noise outside the scanner. We also have the geometric accuracy, and what this does is it actually measures the object of what's inside, and it measures the height and width within the scan plane. And we also have we have the transmit gain, and what that measures is it measures the amount of energy, the amount of RF energy needed to basically produce a 90-degree RF pulse. So that's what that measures. And there, we also want to have the equipment inspection. That's important because we want to make sure that our equipments are working properly. It's like your coil, the cords to the coil. Make sure even your scanner door for zone 4 is properly closing in properly. Those are some of the things that you want to have inspected as you do your equipment. And then you also have like the cryogens. The cryogen is very, very important because that's, as we know, helps cool our superconducting magnet, and that's very, very important. And we want it up a level. We want it at a percentage high. We don't ever want it low because that means it's not working properly. We also want to make our room temperature very stable. We don't want it too high or too low. We want it right into the middle. So those are some of the QRC procedures that we have to go through in AART on there. So, and then okay, the next one is briefly explain the differences between MR safe, MR conditional, and MR unsafe item. And so for the difference between MR safe, MR safe is basically, you can take the implant is safe and you're able to enter into zone 4 without any problems pretty much. The MR unconditional, that means if it's conditional, you're going to have conditions that you have to abide by to be able to scan a patient with the implant. So that they are conditions that you have to abide by. And then MR is unsafe, is that it's pretty much fatal. Not supposed to be in zone 4. It's pretty much a problem, and you wouldn't want to take it into you wouldn't want the patient going into zone 4 if they have that type of implant that says unsafe. Okay, so if a patient presented to the partner with an unknown implant, walk us through the steps you would take to determine its MR safety classification. So first and foremost, if it's an unknown implant, we'll ask them questions if they have an implant card. And usually when if they have the implant card, we'll look up the brand name and on MRI safety, and we'll put in the serial number. There'll be those things that we have to put in to our to get the info to see if it's MR safe or MR conditional or MR unsafe, because without that knowledge we're not just going to just say, oh, we can scan them, because that makes them prone to, if it's unsafe, and they go into scan, that's on our fault because we didn't do the necessary due diligence to understand what that implant was and what its specification, what kind of classification it is. If it's MR safe and we figure that out on the MRIsafety.com, then so be it. Then they'd be able to enter. If it has a conditional, I'll basically be looking for the SAR, which is the specific absorption rate, and that allows us the heating part aspect, because we want to know that. We want to know whether it's good in 1.5 Tesla or if it's a 3 Tesla. So those would be the MR conditions that we would have to know. So if it's an MR conditional, then I would tell my patient, okay, I've got all my information, you're good to go, and allow them to be scanned in there. If it's MR unsafe and it says MR unsafe, then they're not going in there, and I'm not allowing them, and we have to reschedule. Or on there and let the radiologist know. And so that's that on that. And then finally, name some of the most dangerous implants we could see in the MRI department. So there are many implants that are going to be dangerous and fatal. Brain aneurysm clips, which are, clip in the brain, that helps the patient not have, blood flow. Instance, maybe it clips into a balloon and it keeps that pocket of blood from bursting. Because if it does, not have that clip, it will be pretty bad for a patient that has an aneurysm clip, and so that's why they would not be going into the MRI room with that. Pacemakers, which help regulate the rhythm for the heart for the patient that has it. Those can also be dangerous if they're not vetted properly by the MRI tech. We have neurostimulators and infusion pumps. So those are some of the implants that you can come across that can be dangerous in the MRI department. And the last question, explain the steps to take when transferring a wheel patient. So for a wheel patient, I'll do my best to show. So for me as the MRI patient, I have my patient here on the bed. They're laying down. I'm coming in. I have the wheelchair, and I'll park it right in front, right here, as close as I can to the bed. And what I'll do is I'll put the locks on so the wheelchair doesn't go anywhere. I will also bend down and lift up the flaps for the legs in there. And then I'll come close to my patient, and what I'll do with my hands is, since he's laying down flat, I will come with my hand around his neck, around the neck, and then I'll also put one hand around the neck and then the other hand cuffing under their knees, and then I'll slowly, gently transfer my weight for them to actually come up so they can sit in an upright position. And as I get them in that position and they're sitting close edge to the bed, I'll also make sure that they have socks that don't allow to have them slip, because the floors can be slick. And so when I'm ready to get them up, I will put my hands together under their armpits, and then I'll lock my hands, and I'll slowly bend my knees, and I'll grab them and have them come up. And then as they come, I'll rotate them and pivot them around and around, because the wheelchair is right here. And as I come, I will have my face here to them, and then I will slowly, still with my hands around their armpit, slowly guide them with my knees bent into the wheelchair. And as I do that, then I'll push them, they'll gladly push their back to the back of the wheelchair. And then what I'll do is, as I make sure they're secure in the wheelchair properly, I'll then put the flaps down for their legs and put their legs onto the flats so they're comfortable. And then I will also put a blanket on them so they're warm on there. And then lastly, I will open the levers for my wheelchair, which they won't be locked anymore, and I'll unlock them. And then after that, we're good to go, and we will head on to whatever, to the MRI place that we need to go to. And then last thing, walk through the steps for doing the lateral transfer from bed to bed. Oh, okay. So lateral bed, as the MRI tech, at least you'll have two people, but at least you and another person for sure, because you can't do this by yourself. So I will bring the bed around so it's level with the bed of the patient, and I'll bring it up to where it needs to be. And then what I will also do is there will be a sheet that will be on the patient under where they're sleeping. And then what I will also do is I will also have the patient's head laid all the way down. And same with on the bed, I'll put the head of the bed all the way down so it's level. The other thing I'll be doing is I'll also, with my MRI tech or whoever is helping me, on the count of 3, I will, well, before that, actually, I will actually put a sliding board under. What that does is I'll help with the patient sliding over to the bed. But so yeah, on the count of 3, I'll yell, we'll talk 1, 2, 3, and then we will grab and slide the patient over with the bed sheet under. And once they're on the bed, then I will then need to get the sliding bed out from under them. So I'll just have them lean over to one side a little bit, and then take the sliding bed under out of the sliding board out of the bed under the patient, and then I'll take that. And after that, if the patient needs to be repositioned, their head, whichever they feel comfortable, we'll help them get adjusted to that. And then after that, that is pretty much it on there. So thank you.